Hey, what's going on, guys? St. R. Edwards back. Welcome to the Ski Channel, Swift Coding with a K for everyone. Thank you for joining me again. So we are now on to Apple's App Development with Swift section 1.8 in the book. And we're going to talk about using Interface Builder to help build UI for your apps. Okay, in this particular video, we're going to just do something very basic with Interface Builder, but we are going to do it. So go ahead and start a new project and title it IB Basics. You can save it to your desktop, or you can save it to your projects folder on your desktop or wherever you may have it. And again, the way you can start a new project is by going down to Xcode in your dock. You can click on it, and when a little box pops up, you can select New Project, and it'll be a single view application. Or you can also go to Xcode and you go to New, and then you can go to New Project. Or you can do Command Shift New once Xcode is highlighted, and it'll bring up a new template for your project where you can pick it. Alright, so Interface Builder. So back in the day, from what I understand, and this is before my time, you know how like your grandpa used to always say, back in my day, we used to have to walk 10 miles to school uphill both ways. Well, whatever. So back in the day, Apple used to have zip files, XIB files, and these zip files were basically, the storyboard files, but they only had a user interface for only a single UI element. So you can have like a single full screen view. You can have a UI, a custom UI control, or you can have something like a table view cell. Okay, but now Storyboard contains much more than that. Now you can lay out your screens, your different views, however you want to. You can have multiple screens, and you can also watch and control the progression of those screens or those views as well. And we'll go through that. So you got your project up now, IB Basics. So as you can see, we are on the main editor right now. Go ahead and go over to, actually go ahead and build and run your app by doing Command B and then Command R, or you can just do Command R to simply run your app. We'll see what it shows us. All right, we have a plain white screen. How exciting. All right, so, of course we didn't expect it, it to do anything because we didn't do anything to it. But, this basically represents our storyboard file, which we'll see in a second. It's just a blank screen on a white canvas. So you can go ahead and stop it from running now. Go ahead and hit the stop button. And you may ask yourself, how did it know to even select that? How did it even know to show just a plain white screen? Well, as you can see right here under the targets, if you select your IB Basics under the General tab, if you scroll down to Main Interface right here, my mouse is circling it. Right here, it says Main. Now, if you had multiple view controllers on your canvas, or multiple views, I should say, it'll show here, but this is the only one, and we don't have a launch screen yet, so main is the only one. So go ahead and click on the file over here in your navigator that says main.storyboard. Okay. All right. So as you can see, this is just our screen right now. This gray arrow represents the entry point of our app. This is the first screen that it will show. As you just seen, it was just a single view app. There was nothing to it. Plain white canvas. And go ahead. So what you can do is say for instance, if you had multiple views on this plain white canvas, you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can like see the control flow. And this is represented very well on page 81 of the book. And And as you can see, there are multiple views on that canvas, and you can zoom in and zoom out. If you have a trackpad, you can just pinch it with 2 fingers and you can zoom in and zoom out with 2 fingers. If you don't have a trackpad, down below on this bottom bar where it currently says 82%, you can zoom in and zoom out by hitting the minus button or the plus sign right here, and it'll do the same thing. So what you want to do now is go ahead and open up the document outline by hitting this button down here, sort of along the, the same bottom tab bar as right besides view as, whatever device. So hit that, the document outline. And go ahead and just start selecting, highlighting the different titles on the document outline. And each one that you highlight, you'll notice that it'll highlight something on the storyboard file on the main editor. So for instance, like the view controller. Now the view controller is highlighted. If you select and you hit the gray triangle for the view, you can do that. And once you select that, that's highlighted as well, as you can see. All right. And up here at the top, go ahead and open up the utilities panel. If you haven't already, we'll hit utilities and we'll explore around here too. All right, in just a second. So go ahead and on the utilities panel, go ahead and go to the third button, which is the objects library. So select that as just a round circle with like a square in the middle. And you can either search or you can type down here in the search bar where it says filter, and you can type button. And what we're going to do is we're going to just click and drag this UI button onto our canvas, okay? So let's do that. So we'll drag this button, not bar button item, make sure it's just the button. And as you can see, these blue lines start to pop up. Now these blue lines represent the layout guides, and these guides help you center your objects onto the screen. It helps with spacing, like if you have other objects on there as well, it helps with spacing, and it also helps you keep it away from the top status bar, from placing visual elements on that status bar so it won't block it. So we'll just put it up here in the top right hand corner and try to stick with the layout guide. So as you can see, it's it's stopping us from going too far. I mean, you can go over it, but I wouldn't recommend it. You're gonna get your warnings and stuff like that. But go ahead and release once it's there. On the left and the right uppermost or left corner. Now we're going to inspect our inspectors over here. We're going to inspect the big four. So here you got the show inspector, and then you got the help inspector, of course. But the big four, you got the identity inspector, you got the attributes inspector, you got the size inspector, and you got the connections inspector. So with the button highlighted, let's go over the big four, the identity, attributes, size, and connection. Okay. So the first one is the identity inspector. So as you can see, this UI button is currently a class member of UI button. So this is where you can change the different properties of your visual elements over here in the identities inspector. So you can do that. If you click over on the carrot looking thing and the attributes inspector, this is where you can change different custom properties like the text color, the font size, the title of it, all that good stuff. And if you scroll up and down, you can see more things that you can do to it. So all of these are properties that you could, do visually instead of programmatically. And there are, pros and cons to doing both. But we won't get into that right now. The next one is the size inspector. And with this one, you can obviously change the size of the button here. So if you look at the width and the height, as I'm about to kind of drag this around, you'll be able to see it move. Well, didn't quite want to do that, but okay, look. So I have this corner, and as you can see, the width and the height are moving on the button. And also something to note too is the X and the Y. So with Apple, the X and the Y coordinates are a little bit different. So the Y, of course, is up and down, right? Vertical, and the X is, the horizontal. So the very top left corner represents 0, 0. So the further you move right, the more that this X number will go up, and the further you move down the screen, the bigger that Y number is going to get. So let's just take it and drag it. So we'll do it. So before X was like 20 or 16, I think. And now it's going to be, here, let's see. See, now it's 147. Y moved a little bit because I moved it down a little bit, but now Y is 25. Now if we move, so if we try to stay here in the middle of the screen, the X will remain at 147 or may move a little bit because my hand's going to move a little bit. But you'll see that the X will probably remain the same, but the Y number will get bigger. So release it. So now Y is 146. Okay. All right. And then next we have the connections inspector. Now the connections inspector, it shows all of the connections you have in regards to, right now our button. And since we don't have anything currently connected to our button, we will in a second. Everything is blank. So we'll get more into that in the next video. That's it for now. Stay tuned for more of the Ski channel, Swift Coding with the K for everyone. Thank you for joining me, and be sure to watch this next video where we talk about outlets. Take care.